Satya Satsurumitamyena Tasmai Sigurudeva Sri Chaitanya Manavishram Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swanam Kanana Narati Swapanam Vandevam Silo Silo Sri Guru Vaishnava Sri Bhavan Sarjam Saham Vikam Sadevam Saretam Sadhukam Puritam Svaitam Sri Krishna Devam Sri Ram Krishna Balaram Sahadanam Bharita Sri Sarvam Vikam Syavam Hey Krishna Krishna Sino Dinabandhu Radhare Gopisha Vindavantana Radhavantana Sudhe Tata Krishna Gopani Radhe Radheshwari Vishwabhanu Devi Bhavani Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have to know how to pray. Praying means not just asking Krishna, but it means turning to Krishna. It means remembering Krishna. When in the midst of so many things, we are getting busy with looking for solutions. Any solutions? Google. You never know. Google maybe has solutions, or maybe not. But although Google can give many answers, ultimately, the ultimate answer is the mercy of Krishna that comes now in the form of Krishna. So, we pray to Krishna. And by praying to Krishna, we remember our independence. We remember our dependence on Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. That is chanting Hare Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna simply means to constantly remember our dependence on Krishna. What are you going to do without Krishna? You think, me, Tarzan, but not really. Not for long, Mr. Tarzan. Maybe a few years of Tarzan, and then it's over. Then it's Tarzan over the hill. No more strength. In school also, in the class, there are maybe 2 beautiful girls. 10 years later, there may be 1 beautiful girl. In another 10 years, none left. A beautiful 80-year-old is of course beautiful, but not that beautiful anymore. So strength, beauty, all these things, they are just like only there for the season. Oh yes, the seasons come, and there are seasons when there are many flowers, when it is all very beautiful, and then autumn already sets in and everything begins to shrivel up and disappear. Such is the nature of time. So, we depend on Krishna. Everything, all our strength comes from Krishna. Purusam Visu, the ability of man is coming from Krishna. Janma Isvarya Sukrasi Vir Edamana Madapamam Narvedi Abhidam Tvam Akimchana Guru Charam. Kunti Devi, she says that if you're too attached to birth, too attached to possessions and wealth, too attached to learning and degrees, and too attached to beauty, then you cannot approach Krishna with sincere feeling. So we learn. We learn to see through the Bhagavad Gita with Udaradi. Udaradi means broader intelligence. Not only now, oh yes, now I am Mr. Muscle is my name. Anyway, give that a few years and the muscles will go down here and start growing. That is the nature of these things. No, we are not looking for these external things. We are remembering the time factor. So, in the material world, the most destructive force that exists is time. They, even for nuclear power, they can make shelters that will remain unharmed. They can. That's where the government is staying at that time. But time is the most destructive force. Nothing can stop time. But not for a devotee. For a devotee, time is not destructive at all. Time is on our side. Time is... Stop. Very nice, but it's just either puja or lecture. So now it's lecture, so sit down and be quiet. Just leave it. For after the lecture we'll go. Otherwise, I can only sing water. Where was I?
Time.
What?
Time.
Time.
For a devotee, it is not a destructive force. Not destructive for a devotee, it is not a destructive force.
For a devotee, thank you. That was the point. She got it. You did it. You made more notes. Yes, for a devotee, time is not a destructive force. Because every moment we do devotional service. And that becomes our eternal credit. So time is only gain. I have my story about the Govindaji Mandir. And like in many temples, in the Govindaji Mandir, many of the people are old people. And I used to go there a lot because I used to buy things for the Mayapur Samadhi. I used to go to Rajasthan. And so I knew the situation very well. The doors were closed and these two old men would come. One on the door was a big lock, this big, bigger than your head. This big. And two men were walking, and one was carrying a key, very big key. And the other man was walking next to him with his nose in the air. He was the boss. That was clear. So then the boss would take the key from the other man, open the lock, and then the doors would open. And like this, we were getting ready. Meanwhile, the Pandit was giving his lecture. And the Pandit was always giving the same lecture, and the lecture was Sansara Sagar mein Janma Mrityu chal raha hai. In case you understood it. In the ocean of birth and death, in the ocean of samsara, birth and death are always interchanging. Like that. And then as he gives the lecture, then behind him there was an old man, and he would make gestures. And go like, maybe every temple has one or two. But after a while I noticed that he was making signals whenever the speaker was making an important point. So in case there were sleepers, then point. So in this way, he knew exactly when the points would come and the lecture would happen. Then when the doors were open, then the arati would begin. And at the end of the arati, the pujaris, they come out to give the water. And it's not one pujari, it's two. One has a big pot, big one, full with mahal. The other one has conch. And they don't throw little water, they throw buckets of water. Lots of water. I mean, bring an umbrella. That kind of quantity of water, right? A lot. But the local residents in Jaipur, what they do, when they throw the water, they open their mouths to catch that water. So that is how we see the mercy of the Lord being received. And we see that these old people are nice old people. There's some old men and they sing. Govinda, 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 Govinda. Powers of kirtan, they are doing. So this is, and we see all these old people, they are very enthusiastic. Then in the end they give us some tulsi and someone is distributing some prasad, you quickly take it and then you run out the side door of the temple, because if you run straight out of the side door you walk fast, you're just in time at Radha Gopinath Mandir for the darshan. You come at Radha Gopinath Mandir darshan. There it's not old men, there it's old ladies leading the kirtan. And these ladies are so old, their chins and noses are almost grown together. That's how old they are. But they dance like young gopis. And time is not a destroyer for them. Time is only separating them from the moment that they will be gopis in the spiritual world. Because they've dedicated their whole life. And now, in their old age, shows the fruits of their bhakti. See? A lifetime of bhakti. Just simple bhakti. And the fruits are showing now. And those fruits will ultimately translate in going back to Godhead and being eternally useful. Who cares about time and old age when you're on the way to the spiritual world where there is no time? And it said Jarati, she looked old. Jarati, she was old. So Krishna was saying, I heard that Jarati is getting married. I heard that she will get married to the Monkey King. And Jarati said, no, that will not be possible, because I'm already engaged with Krishna. That was it. Yeah, that's the spiritual world. Of course, in the spiritual world, even Jarati looks young. No, it is old age. Because old age is a punishment of the material world. For sinful people, for sinful living beings, they have to face the dynamics of time. Grandpa, what are you looking for? Have you lost something? That you're walking with your nose on the ground? Are you looking for something? She said, you foolish children, don't you know that I've lost the pearl of my youth? So in this way, different poets have described the influence of time. But we, as devotees, are seeing that the more devotional service, the more time is in our favor. If you've done something your whole life, whatever it is, you cannot change it. It's very difficult in old age to change. If you eat everything your whole life and one day you eat something different, you die. Maybe. Could be. Yeah. Therefore, if you eat your whole life prasadam, then you cannot eat bhoga anymore. So, like this, devotional service is in our favor. It is actually, time makes it only stronger and only better. Therefore, a devotee is in a very favorable position. Some people, they predict the future and they are reading the tarot cards, right? I'm sure in Mauritius you also have some of these people. Now there's one tarot card which shows the young man looking forward and the old man looking backward. It is like that. Young men look forward, old men look backward.
Do you know? Yes, well, when I was long ago, don't listen to this. I know you heard the story 100 times, but I tell you one more time. Your grandfather,
you listen, and tell the same story every time. My grandmother also had these stories. My grandfather had a hat, and they pulled the hat over his eyes, and then it became a fight. And then they threw her on the ground, but she wasn't defeated. She pulled up the leg of the man's pants and bit him in the leg. My grandmother was a tough lady, but very nice. So in this way, so many stories of old people. Because when you're old, in the material sense, nothing is happening anymore. But for the devotee, devotees are never looking backward. They look forward. They just look forward. More and more service, more and more opportunity. So in this way, we are very optimistic about our future. In this way, this spiritual life is not at all routine. It's not dry. That was 3. I guess it was. Sure. So, all we have to do is just appreciate where we are. We are living by the grace of the Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas have arranged so many things. In India, we can go to so many holy places. We can go there and we find temples. And these temples, they are reminding us of the past times that took place. It is the Vaishnavas that reveal the holy places to us. It is by the mercy of the Vaishnavas that so many scriptures are available. It is by the mercy of the Vaishnavas that there are temples. It is by the mercy of the Vaishnavas that you have such nice paintings and such nice verses on your ceiling. Did anyone memorize the verses? Probably not. It means we are not looking. See? We are not looking. We are here, but we are not looking. And even when we are looking, we are not seeing. Even if we're looking, we're not seeing. And even if we're seeing, we're not registering. And even when we're registering, we're not remembering. And even if we're remembering a little, we're not trying to remember. But if only we would, if one devotee would say, I never have time for anything, but somehow or other, because I came so many times to this Krishna Balaram temple, I memorized those verses. If you would have done, if you spent your life just memorizing that, oh, at the end of your life, you will have a treasure. And I tell you, Krishna and Balaram will come for you. Oh yes, they will come. I have one disciple from South Africa who lives in Vrindavan since a long time. And some 10 years ago, his father passed away. And then, he said one night, he had a dream, just after his father passed away. And he saw his father in a bullock cart in Vrindavan, driving around in a bullock cart. Now, knowing his father, I could imagine that would suit his father, driving around in a bullock cart. So, like this, somehow or other, everything will bear fruit. Nothing that we do is ordinary. Nothing that happens in the temple is ordinary. We read these stories, right? Stories about a rat that came on the altar and the ghee lamp had been used for the arti. It is still standing, but it had gone out. But it was glowing a little bit, and the rat was just thinking to eat the ghee. So it started to eat like the wick. Nice tasty ghee. But the whiskers of the rat caught on fire. And the lamp started burning again. And for lighting a lamp, that rat went back to Godhead. So many devotional service bears fruit. So many opportunities are there for us here to do something. Therefore, this temple is a great place of mercy. A great place of mercy. Just to come here, just to get the dust from the temple. You can collect the dust and put it in little packets. It's worth more than gold. Yeah, that's enough. No problem. Plenty. You can take it, collect it all, and put it in little plastic bags. Dust from the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. Who doesn't want? Anyone who doesn't want dust from the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas, some Father duty? Yes, it is available. It is available. There is a story about Hanuman, and how Hanuman is a very good singer. And he can sing very beautifully. So once Narada Muni came, and he came to listen to Hanuman singing. And Hanuman was singing with so much devotion. With so much devotion. Narada was just he even put his veena down, and he's just swaying his arms while Hanuman is singing so sweetly. And his heart was melting. But not only was his heart melting, the stone was also melting. And his veena was sinking into the stone. And then Hanuman stopped singing, and then the veena was stuck. And Narada, my veena! And then Hanuman ran away into his house. Narada went after him. And Hanuman ran through the whole house. And Narada said, "You monkey!" And he ran after him everywhere, through every room in the house. And outside, finally Narada caught him. And then said, "Why did you make me run?" Hanuman said, "I wanted the dust of a Vaishnava all over my house." Anyway, Narada made him sing again, took his veena and said, "See you later." But yes, the dust of the Vaishnavas. Padaduli. This Padaduli. Vaishnava Padaduli. Oh, Vaishnava Padaduli. That is what we want. Oh, I almost named somebody Padaduri today. It was close. I was thinking about it. Next time, maybe. Could have been you, but you missed out. Padaduri. Because this Padaduri, this dust of the feet of the Vaishnavas, is very important. Vina Mahatpado Raju come that without bathing in the dust of the feet of the Vaishnavas, one cannot attain perfection. So this is our temple. Prabhupada is presiding. Krishna Balaram are the lords. This temple is our temple, somehow or other. Yes, we have the right to be here. Everyone has the right to serve Krishna and Balaram. No one is exempt. It doesn't matter who it is. Everyone is welcome. This is our place of strength. When we can be in such a place, the problem is we don't appreciate. Not fully. Because we are not present. I've given an example how early in the morning, when there's the darshan of the deities and the tape starts playing, Govinda, Adipurusha, what will be for breakfast today? The power of the mind is such that even in the middle of a spiritual environment, everything is spiritual. Look, the temple is spiritual, deities are spiritual, devotees are spiritual, kirtan is spiritual, everything spiritual, but we are not spiritual. That is the difficulty. Somehow or other we are managing to still bring in mundane things. Even in the midst of spiritual environment, still we think of mundane things. So, we come to the temple to look for mercy and to share that mercy with others. Kirtan is very powerful because in Kirtan we can create ecstasy together. In Kirtan we can share so many emotions. It depends who is singing. Right? When I'm singing, then it is about breaking the floor, as we did in the first Kirtan Mela. I can say that I did it. I made you all do it. We did it, guys. We did it. We broke the floor. It was well done. The rest of the Kirtan Mela was without the floor. What to do? The others, they lead such kirtan, so beautiful that it makes you cry, that it makes you pray. Lokanath Maharaj's kirtan is like dripping in like a rasgula, like a gulab jamun. It is like full of ras. I always give the example how in Durban we had a long parade and I was leading half the parade and Lokanath Maharaj the other half. That was arranged. So, you know my style by now. So we were in the middle of town. It was full of people. The kirtan was flying. The drummers were going strong. And these are African drummers, you know, not weak Mauritians. It was serious, you know, and we were flying, and it was going really strong, really strong. And then, I ended on a strong explosion. And then, at the beginning of the parade, Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj always gives the same lecture. And it's always about no, it's not blasphemy. It does give the same lecture. Isn't it true? Maharaj, every time, I'll tell you what Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj does in Bhakti Lecture. Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj always gives the same lecture. and he throws things at people. Anything, from apples and what's coconuts. And